Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of 911-ish. We are back with Jason. Say hi, Jason.
Hello, everybody.
And our other guest is Dawn. Actually, our only guest is Dawn today. Say hi, Dawn.
Hello.
Hi. Jason had a little leave of absence because he had to go to a different shift because he's a quitter and didn't like the people he worked with and, chose his real family over his work family. I mean,
well, to be fair, I am very thankful for Jeff inviting me back. He did let me go to attend some issues that I needed to. I'm back, and I was welcomed back to the show with open arms, and thank you very much, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Well, you got to be fair,
50-40, requesting assistance. We have a possible 211 in progress at the Bank of America. Bank of America, located north of Kittredge. We have shots fired.
All units, officer needs help. At the Bank of America, located north of Kittredge, officer needs help. Bank of America, 911, emergency.
I'm at a drive-thru right now. I ordered my food 3 times. I asked 4 different times to make it.
I got a man in the pool. He got his driver stuck in the pump line. What? You're kidding me. I'm telling you, honest to God, something you really got to see the boy.
I still love that. It took me a long time to make that intro, but I spent like 40 minutes listening to that whole LAPD shooting broadcast before I was like, well, I can't have a 40-minute intro, so I guess I'm going to have to turn this into like 12 seconds. And then I was like, I don't want it to just be serious, so how do I find stupid 911 calls? So I just YouTubed it, and there's a lot.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
Chicken nuggets.
Yeah. So actually, what's funny is I was thinking about it, and like half of our shift currently wasn't even alive when that LAPD shooting happened.
It's crazy.
And when you ask a lot of people, they don't even know what you're talking about anymore. They're like, what's the LAPD North Hollywood shootout?
And one of us responded to it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty legit. I mean, we talked about this before in another episode, but there's a whole 44-minute documentary on it, and it's awesome. Like crazy. So
speaking of dispatchers, that dispatcher in LAPD, what an amazing job.
Yeah.
Just stayed cool through the whole thing, and she knew exactly where everybody was.
I've heard, I don't know, but I've heard she was on training when that whole thing went down, and she was like the brakes person. So just got somebody up, sat down, plugged in, and boom.
Wow.
Welcome to dispatch. Anyways, welcome, Dawn. Thanks for being here with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. The joke I was going to say earlier was when I get close and you can hear the in your voice, which is what is that, AMSR or AMSR, whatever it is. Carmen, who we recorded with not too long ago, hates that sound. It makes her gag. She hates it, right? So I was eating a chocolate bar at her house when we were recording, and she was taking care of her kids and came back. So I had just finished it, and I didn't have a drink yet. So I went, okay, Carmen, how are you? And she literally was just like, and started losing her mind.
Sometimes it sounds like livestock feeding, if you really think about it. That's a horse on hay right there.
I wouldn't know. I'm from California.
Well.
Yeah. The guy sitting next to me has a hat with a Oklahoma State imprinted on it with an American flag.
There you go.
Proud
So,
of you.
There you go.
Yeah. From is it a town of Watonga or is it a city?
That's where the family is from. On my father's side, Watonga.
But is it a town, city, village?
It's the county seat.
But is it a town?
Village.
I don't know. It's actually a good question. How do you differentiate that? Is it just a vote in the public or?
They do have a traffic signal.
One.
So it probably makes it a town.
There you go.
Do they have any elevators?
Grain elevators, I bet.
Lots of those.
Yeah. But people?
I'm not aware of any elevators.
Right. Wow. No escalators then for sure.
No. Yeah. Did you see that video not too long ago of the escalator breaking in China?
I did.
Oh. Did you imagine being the fire dispatcher on that one?
Oh, awful.
MVI.
Yes. And then you just call LA County and say help.
Yes.
Yeah. That was Jason's hat hitting the microphone in case everybody was wondering. So, anyways, Dawn, thanks for being with us again. And why don't you tell us a little bit how you got into dispatching and public safety?
Well, I'm an old timer like you guys. Well, more like Jason.
More like us.
Hey, it's a compliment.
Seasoned and professional.
Yeah.
Well seasoned. I've been with our current agency for almost 22 years. I got hired in the year 2000. Sounds so strange. Right?
It is crazy to think that was 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
Imagine when you got hired, there's now people born that are old enough to drink.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I know.
That was 3 years after the shootout.
I was just barely old
was
enough to
97.
drink when I started.
That's right.
A month after I turned 21.
Wow, you started younger than I did.
Yeah, I guess that tells you how old I am. And prior to that, I was a CSO, Community Services Officer, like you guys, and another city that we dispatch for. I was there about 2 years, almost 2 years. I, prior to that, had like 4 jobs at one time and, did what we all
Everybody
do when
else
we're
does.
crazy, yeah. And went to school full time and played 2 college sports and, it's normal.
If I could ask, when you were a CSO, which jobs did you have?
Oh, I wrote tickets. I directed traffic. I picked up dead animals.
So you ran the
Things.
gamut.
I did all the things.
You did all the things the patrol officers didn't want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wrote some reports.
Yeah.
Did all those good things.
But when you're young like that, everybody's like, awesome, I get to do this. I'm in the field. Yeah.
So cool.
And all the officers like, yeah, go write that report
That's
for
right.
me.
I was
Yeah,
at the
sure.
scene of the crash,
Yeah.
directing traffic.
Yeah. My first report, they told me they were like, okay, go in the report writing room and write this report. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So luckily somebody came along and was like, okay, here's how you start.
Well, that's a
On this day at this time. Oh,
God.
thank you.
so classic. On this date at this time, I, parentheses, this number sign, serial number, in parentheses, fitness this. So that's actually a great segue. The things that one of the things I want to talk about, which is training, because we've all trained. I've been training for probably, God, I don't even know how many years, but I'll say 10 or 11 people, because I think that's an easier way to do it. So probably 5 years. I don't know. Jason, you've trained here and at your old city too, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So you were one of like the only people at your. How many dispatches did they have back at before?
At the time we ended, we had 11.
11?
And I think at our peak, we were around 13 or 14.
Oh, well, that's a lot for what I thought.
Yeah.
So, and then you've trained at both cities, and then Dawn, you've been training for how long here at?
Oh, I don't even know.
How many people?
I think people I've trained have retired probably. How many people? Oh, gosh.
Do you remember your first training?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Are they still?
I think I know who my first trainee was.
Are they still there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. My first police training,
Yeah.
I actually think was Sunshine.
Oh,
I think. Yeah. And
I think mine was Tina.
okay.
PD.
On phone. Oh, PD. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first one?
Yes. And she is not there anymore. I can't remember her name, but we were on Graveyard, and that was not for her, and she lasted about 5 days.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
different environment when you're not
it was
used
her
to
first
it.
exposure to shift work.
And
then
probably
on top of
policing.
learning this job with shift work, I think just overwhelmed her.
Yeah.
And she said, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. So my, oh man, it was, we were sitting, so it would have been our 4th week. I don't remember. This was long ago where Yancy Mena was still one of the SAS supervisors. Thorne had a call of it was 245 shooting. And, it was her first time putting out a 245. So she 3 beeps it, starts putting it out, and it was at the den. And Dawn shaking her head. Do you remember that call?
Yes.
Dawn shaking. It was before we got there.
Yeah.
And so it was a 245 shooting. So she puts it out. They start responding, and I did an Adrian and just kind of pushed her out of the way once I started hearing all the other phone calls come in. And they got there, and it ended up being, oh man, I'm gonna get this wrong. I'll have to go back and listen to it, but I think it was a triple shoot. 3 people shot. And then the den is a bar in Horn, and it just emptied on like a Friday night. Like 300 or 400 people just rushed out of the bar after the shooting and just started wailing on all the cops. And it turned into one of the Horn officers. I'll never forget this. Went out OTA, and he's just like, "We don't have an officer down right now, but this is essentially a 999. So help."
Wow.
And yeah, and I was like, "Oh shit." So yeah, and it turned into all of they rolled out there, a lot of the sheriffs, LAPD, CHP, and they formed a skirmish line on Imperial Highway and just pushed south.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Dawn, when you're training, do you ever find, and Jeff too, that when a certain incident comes about and you kind of think your trainee's prepared for it, being with someone new and training them, Does the excitement of still doing the job kind of take over sometimes and you push them out of the way, maybe even when you didn't have to?
Oh, yeah. I did that to one of my trainees. Unit went in pursuit, and I was like, mine.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, no, I got this. Thanks.
Yeah.
Just watch and learn.
Yeah.
I think it depends on how far along the trainee is.
Yeah.
If it's something that I know they can't do yet, then I'm like, get out of the way.
But have you ever had, either one of you, have you ever had the scenario where you jumped in and maybe you didn't need to, but you wanted to handle the incident because the job felt that good again?
Yeah, I had one when I was training James, and it was like his first or second day. And it was when that the 360 incident, I don't know if you remember, where LAPD was chasing that guy through the 360 and they came on our air, and it was just kind of like,
Is that the one that turned into like the hostage situation? Where Megan had to talk, like do the CNT thing?
No. But it was, we lost, I think some officer got lost in there. The LAPD unit didn't know where they were going. And it's a gated community for those not familiar. But he was dispatching in. It was real early on, but I could have let him maybe try. But I was like, no, this is mine.
Dawn, do you have a relationship with LAPD? Because it seems like you get a lot of their incidents. And I go back to Sepulveda in Venice at the Shell station. Homeless transient with a knife.
I have absolutely no idea what either of you are
know what I'm
talking about.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I do tend to get a lot of LAPD stuff. I think because I sit cover a lot.
Well, that's because you guys.
Because we are the cover people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So get this. LAPD has it called Sepulveda Venice. It was a transient with a knife, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So like a priority 2 at LA?
Right. Yeah, it's holding.
It's still holding.
The transient walks across the street, and he's at the Shell station, 3801 Sepulveda. So now he's in.
Who the hell knows the address?
This guy. Yeah.
But LAPD is still responding to the incident. They locate him. She's dispatched to city and providing all the updates that LAPD is providing. The city officers roll up, and they watch LAPD actively get in a shooting.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, that's Dawn.
Yeah.
That's Dawn's luck right there.
Yeah, that's my luck. Yeah.
Well, at least they didn't start getting on your air with a shooting.
Oh.
The beauty of it, though, the only way the other dispatchers knew was somebody said, I think Dawn said shots fired, but it was just another call to her.
Yeah.
Just, it's Sunday afternoon.
So it sounds like Aaron.
I've kind of forgotten about that, actually, so thanks for reminding me.
There you
go.
Yeah.
The going back to your question, Jason, the one time it wasn't in training, but I remember wanting to push somebody out of the way and take over was the Thorn shooting that we talked about on, I think we talked about it in episode 1. I know that I talked about it with Tony and Tori.
The one at the station?
The one at the station where the family one. Because I had just plugged in and you were getting ready for EOW, and I literally plugged in, and as soon as that clicked in my ear, they said shots fired. And I was like, get the fuck out of the way, Jason. I want to do this. Nope. Yeah.
Nope.
And you just sat there, and it actually worked really good. It was the definition of like tandem dispatching and how it
thought
works.
It was great.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a fun 6 hours of.
I liked, I was still on probation at our current agency during that incident. Mm-hmm. So the only thing that was not familiar to me was still manipulating the CAD system.
Oh, I know. I was watching.
But I loved the confused look on your face with every suspect description. I had it, every officer's location, but I had nothing written down. And Jeff is just like,
he
how do
memorized
you know that?
like 20 different units, locations, and it was just like instant recall. I was just like, what the hell? How do you do that? That's why I have it on our command line. That's why I have it up all the way so I can like see 6 or 7 commands back.
I actually got that trick from you.
Yeah. So, because I'm not good at that.
Still don't do that. I'm so stubborn. It's got to look like the old system. Got to stay.
Down at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Just the narrow line?
Oh, just the narrow line.
Well, I was going to say the old system, I wasn't there for it, but I've heard it like you couldn't see what you wrote in the past, right? It was just,
line.
it was just like
nothing. You just entered it. So, some descriptions were hot mess.
Yeah, broadcasts would not be fun.
Oh, no.
And see, I need the memory because when I type, I look like I'm typing on an abacus. It's just slow and awkward. And
there's a few people that still do the finger hunting back. I was like that when I started.
Yeah.
Oh man, Adrian couldn't stand it. Yeah. She would send me home with homework to type. Yeah, type watch. She would basically tell me to go watch a sitcom or something like that and just type out what one character said and then bring in the homework at the end of the shift or at the beginning of next week.
I might use that with my trainee tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
next week.
Oh, she has another week.
Yeah, they're gonna give her another week. Yeah.
What when you first started in dispatch, Dawn, what did you find difficult? What was your biggest hurdle?
Everything.
Even with prior field experience?
Yeah. phones training was hard. It was a lot harder than I thought. And then, yeah, it was hard. A lot of things.
What, taking control of calls, what aspect?
Oh, yeah,
Trying to
'cause I
get the
used
right
to-
information.
If I came in to dispatch without having any field experience, I would have failed immediately because I used to be very shy. Painfully shy.
No,
Painfully shy. And so now
I wouldn't have seen that.
I'm still not
Really?
buying it.
yeah.
Really?
No.
No. You
Oh,
are,
I wouldn't talk to anyone.
at our current agency, you are the smile that turns the frowns upside down.
Well, thanks.
Literally.
Thanks.
Every morning when you walk in, you are the smile.
Well, that doesn't mean I'm not shy.
Well, that's true, but you're open. You
No,
say
I
good
got
morning to
over.
everybody.
I got over that as far as being a little more assertive. But yeah, I would never. I didn't even order my own food in restaurants when I was a kid. Oh, I was shy, very, very, very shy.
Still not buying it.
But I
It's
still get
surprising.
really nervous though. So
Really?
when we talk about the community outreach stuff, I have a story that I was so nervous.
We don't have to say when we talk. We can we can just talk about it. So,
Well,
like
that's
for
a good
instance,
segue.
I have the ability to push a button and it edits things.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It's pretty cool.
If that only
So-
applied to more places.
I
than
know,
just here.
right?
Can we
I
do
just
that?
wish we had the giant mute button,
Oh, that'd be great.
or the ability to, well, yeah. Whoops.
Yeah.
So, or the ability to mute things like the people.
Yeah, I just don't hear you anymore.
Yes. Yeah. That's one of the things about work that I love and hate at the same time is I love everybody that works there, but when you put 15
Strong
type A
personalities.
strong personalities in one room, it's a challenge sometimes. It is.
I'm not arguing that.
Yeah. There's nothing to argue because
No.
we all know that it's true. So, yeah.
Well,
There-
that's a segue too, because I was going to say the reason why I got into doing the community outreach stuff and peer support and all of that was out of necessity for kind of a self-preservation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was so unhappy with work and just we had a lot of overtime at the time. Go figure.
Just like every other agency that's a dispatch agency in the
Yeah,
world.
it was kind of around the time when I really was the most unhappy there was I think when we were switching over to the new center and just the staffing levels were terrible and learning new systems and it was just frustrating. It was hard. So I'm like, well, what can I do to not be so miserable, right? I'm staying. I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. So I thought, well, let it be nice to do some stuff, outside of this room. Not that there was time. So that kind of planted a seed in my head of, eventually trying to get into doing stuff outside.
When you started with those programs, was National Night Out and all that in effect yet, or had
that was
not
the thing.
started?
It sort of started around the time when Coffee with a Cop started. I thought, well, that would kind of be a cool program to be involved with and get out there and actually meet some of these people that you talk to on the phone every day and realize that they're not all not nice.
Crazy.
So
5150.
Yeah, 5150s. Or just demanding jerks, like a lot of people are. And it was just nice to meet people face to face and realize that they do appreciate you, that you're not all of them are crazy.
Well, one of the good things too, because I've done a couple of the neighborhood watch meetings with you, is you go out there and you just realize just how much these people have absolutely no idea about police work.
That too.
And it's good to educate them in the first place, but at the same time, it's good for us because it's like, oh, this is why you get mad when I ask A, B, C, D, E, F, and G.
Right.
So that exact point is why I was looking forward to today and knowing Dawn was going to be with us.
Yeah.
Conservatively, the three of us here, over 60 years experience.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Dawn, I posed the question to you first.
Almost as old as Jason.
That was good, actually. That was funny. Still not 50. Still not 50. Just remember that.
Oh, okay. No, I know I'm not. Thank you.
Getting back to my question.
Okay.
With all the community outreach you've done, and I'm posing this question to both of you, I'll start with Dawn. If you had one message that you could get across to all the communities and helping the communication line between dispatch and a reporting party improve, what would your one message be?
We're already on the way.
Mine would be 911 is for emergencies only.
Well, that too. But I think that people get very frustrated because they think I'm coming out there. I'm going to get off the phone, hang up the phone, get dressed, and come out there with my gun and badge.
Well,
and
hopefully you're already dressed.
Well, they don't
Hopefully.
know that.
Hopefully. We don't do this from home yet.
Well, I mean,
Although we will have in
like,
theory, there's the capability once everything goes cloud-based in California.
Right, I heard. But I was more talking about like throwing on my,
You Sam Brown.
Well, that.
Cape.
Yeah. Yes, my magic cape.
Do they even call that Sam Brown anymore, or do they have another name for it?
That's what it was.
Web gear, Sam Brown, duty
You're
belt.
asking old people. That's what we call it. So
Now they throw on a vest that is a vest and everything.
Yeah.
So
No, I think that they still think that we're the one coming. So I think reassuring them that the call's already been entered, someone's already been dispatched, and they're driving to you. So me talking to you is not delaying anything. Oh, you can kind of then feel the relief sort of sometimes when they're in their right mind. That, oh, okay, you're not the one coming, or I need to know what's happening so that I can help them help you, that kind of thing. So just communication and being a little bit patient, knowing that we are doing our job and we know what we're doing.
So I'd like to
Most of us.
So I'd like to take a different turn with this topic.
Uh-oh.
Let's say the call is non-emergent, and even the reporting party knows it's non-emergent.
But is it emergent to them?
Right.
Not even necessarily. And I'll give you an example of why I'm thinking of this, because it happened just this week. If you're calling about an incident that is not important and you're going to be calling the police.
Incidents are always important. Don't you know the phrase, no call too small?
And that's why the call gets created. That's right. However, if you have a moment, take the time to be prepared when you call, if you can. Now, I understand if you're witnessing the crime where the bad guy's coming out of the window holding the stereo, you're going to get a little flustered. Some things are not going to be ready for you to answer. I get that. This week, when was the last day we worked together? Tuesday. I have a lady in one of the more well-off communities that we serve call.
So all of them. Sure.
No.
It's Southern California.
Well, yes and no.
Yeah. There's not a house for sale in any of our cities for less than $1 million, probably.
True. Well, to give some background, we have some very, very different demographics that we serve.
Oh, absolutely. It's we're essentially, the way I like to explain it to brand new people who have no geography thing, tangent, is go watch the movie Boys to Men. Or not Boys to Men, Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood. Boys in the Hood. And did I say Boys to Jesus Christ.
ABC,
and I'm old.
Yeah, I know. Go watch those two movies, and then we'll plot it on the map where that is, and then we'll go 1 mile, 2 miles tops to the south and to the east, or west, I'm sorry. And there we are in $1 million homes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, yeah.
I get back to the call, and I actually
Thanks,
don't
Elon
know,
Musk.
I actually don't know if you remember it, but it's a call that I created that I sent to you on Tuesday.
I probably don't.
No. It was not that significant outside of getting this message across about being prepared. It took me 10 minutes to realize that this nice lady was calling about a car in front of her house that was displaying expired registration. I was able to decipher that that was her complaint by going back and forth with phrases like, the plates are bad, the wrong plates. I figured it out when she said the stickers are the wrong color.
You know the colors of the year?
She never once said the phrase expired registration, so we're off to a great start. Wow.
I'm still shocked that you know what color. What color's 2022?
No, she did. I don't have any idea.
Oh, I thought you knew the color.
She
years.
used the phrase, the stickers are the wrong color. Oh. And then I deciphered, are you calling about a car with expired tags? And then she goes, yes.
Well,
I'm so glad the phrase expired tags escaped your brain.
Yeah. Listen, if there's one thing this job teaches you, it's patience.
Right.
Ooh.
Patience. Being prepared. After establishing what the complaint is, I then begin with the vehicle description. No joke. Tell me what the car looks like. It has 4 wheels. Stopped. There was no more in her answer. It has 4 wheels.
You know what I love about this story is that there's 3 trainers sitting here, and all of us know that when you're training somebody, the first thing when you're training somebody to get a description, the first thing you say is, don't ask general questions.
Yeah.
Right.
Mister, can you describe the car?
It's a parking call. I was going to let her have free reign.
Why? It took you 10 minutes to get where you were. Come on, dude.
Just roll with this. So after she says it has 4 wheels, awkward silence on the phone. I was thinking she was going to continue. She was done. Literally like the blind date, sat down at the dinner table. I've got nothing except I think you have pretty eyes. That's it. Now using my patience and now having a little fun with this call, I said, well, okay, now let's work on making this car with 4 wheels unique from the other cars in front of your house with 4 wheels. And she goes, okay. It has an orange ladder on top.
That is a very good identifying mark.
We are on a roll now. We are on a roll. Ended up being like a Comcast van. Comcast.
So it was
Spectrum.
okay to park there.
So no one did anything. Got it.
So they go out there and be like, oh, yeah, there it is. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just remember color, year,
Symbol.
make, model.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with
4
people.
wheels.
Same thing with people.
Year, make, model.
I don't know. It's something like that. It's symbol.
Simple.
Symbol.
Symbol.
Yeah.
I got it.
Symbol.
By the way, is the rumor true? Are you getting a trainee this week?
Next
Looking at Dawn?
week. Next week.
Next
Saturday.
week.
Next Saturday. Not
I
tomorrow.
have an extra bullhorn if she needs it.
Oh, listen. I have one too. Maybe she will need it. I don't know. She seems.
Little bit of backstory here. Her sister also works with us, and her sister is was the most soft-spoken person
I
on
trained
the
her sister,
planet.
too. I
Like,
can deal with them.
like, hi, how are you? Like that kind of soft-spoken.
She's very sweet.
Yeah. And for Christmas, I bought her a bullhorn because she was never loud enough. And yeah, it was a joke, and she got it. She laughed at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so ever since then, though, she's been a little bit more, louder. So
Yeah. She was very young when she started, so she's doing great.
yeah, I think her and
Like
Brandy
18
Hicks
or
were the 2 youngest when they started. So because Brandy was 18 too, I
Yeah.
think.
We were counting down the days till she could have a drink.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
She's a baby,
I'm counting down the days till I die. I mean, shit.
right? We're closer. Yeah.
Yeah, we're closer to death than she is to drinking.
Yeah. Probably.
Well, that's a fun outlook.
Well, I'm just
Anyways,
yeah.
on to lighter topics.
Don't look at me like that. So,
911 Coronerish is the new show.
yeah, something like that. So like when you get a trainee, is there anything specific from your past that
He's specifically not looking at me because he doesn't want to laugh.
He doesn't want to laugh.
is there anything specifically from your past that you like? How do I word this? Is there anything that
I do
Past
differently.
experiences do you use?
no? What I'm trying to say is okay, here's an easy way. Who trained you? Shannon.
Trained me for one day, and I got a lot out of it, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
What
I remember that day super well because this is another tangent. I got a call that my then fiance, now husband, was in the ER at Harbor General.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. If
That's
you don't
the-
know, it's not a good hospital.
Well,
well, it's a great hospital.
it's a great hospital.
But it's not a great place to hang out.
Yeah, it's in a very neighborhood that's
county
crime ridden, and it is a county. It's the county southern, I think, trauma center for
Trauma
LA
center.
County. Yeah.
So I ran out of there panicked. So I didn't get a lot out of it time wise, but yeah, she's a great trainer. She was a great trainer. Yeah.
So-
Very thorough.
So
No,
from
I would say in my complaint phase, phone phase, what I would take away from that is that there's only so long you can leave them hanging
Yes.
without helping.
Yeah.
And
well, my question was, I just couldn't figure out how to way to word it. Is there anything that your trainee or that while you were training, your trainer made you do that you make your trainees do?
study, which we're not
Because you don't want
supposed
to talk for 12 hours a day.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
after
I'm right there.
work. Yeah.
If you do talk for 12 hours a day, they won't retain it.
I
Yeah.
would say
gotta
I
give 'em a
do
break.
talk less than other trainers, I think, to their as far as like constant going over stuff, because I do think they need some time to process. So that is one way I think I maybe do it in a more deliberate and intentional way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do that. I kind of give them some space to like, okay, write that down and then ask me a question about it.
I posed this question to both of you, and this is something that I had at my prior agency. Do you guys set goals for your trainee at the end of each week? We should be here, we should be here, we should be here.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do them a little, not like we should be here, but like by the end of next week, you will be able to do X, Y, and Z.
In essence, the same thing. I did that at my old agency more than I did here just because it was established and laid out. But I thought that was very helpful.
Yeah.
Like
So-
you have goals that you achieve each week, and it gave them confidence as well.
What I do is during the evaluation for the whatever week we're in, I put basically 2 or 3 goals for next week saying, these are what we're going to do next week.
Yeah. It also
Or I
gives
should
you
say,
something
this is,
to write about.
yeah, this is what you're going to do next week.
Yeah.
That's also setting up your evaluation for next week.
Hell
as
yes,
well.
it is.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
Then
if
it says
anybody knows
you
me,
bet.
they know my evaluations are lengthy.
Long.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the thing I took from Adrian.
Oh, goodness.
I'll never forget. She gave me a 14-page PD evaluation once.
I don't always
It must have been
fill
a
in-
positive one.
It
was.
No. Mine's not even like a whole page.
She had literally, it was a 3-day week, so it was like 36 hours of training. But she had the total number of traffic stops, the total number of subject stops, the total number of officer-initiated calls in there. I was like, damn.
No.
Is that for your trading card?
So, I mean, it was intense. I was like, whoa. And she would never give it to me like the end of the week. She'd give it to me on our Monday because she did it all over the weekend.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, I would keep a spiral notebook and highlights and low lights and,
Yeah.
tag an
numbers.
incident number and go back and refer to that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the goal setting stuff. That's a big part of the new CTO program that they do, the Communication Training Officer program. Like we spent, of the 5-day course, we spent probably 2.5 to 3 days on goal setting and SMART goals and all that stuff. And Anthony Alvo, if you're listening, we're going to try and get you on here next week. Or
Are you
at some
doing
week.
the advanced CTO class?
If I am, I haven't been told.
Oh, have you checked your email?
I thought
No.
that's the one you just did.
No, I just did the basic CTO one. They have an advanced.
The
The Kim
CTO
Turner has one in
yeah, the-
November, I think.
June, I think. The
Oh.
CTO school that you did, the post one, I think I did before you started. And haven't been back since. I've done other classes, but
Well,
not.
that's probably why they're sending you because you haven't been.
Yeah, so it's the advanced CTO school. So look into it.
Oh, I'd
Maybe
love
you
to do
can
that.
go. I think it's only 2 days. So
Yeah. So it's probably changed quite a bit. And I'm guessing based upon who does it probably changes it too. So like I'm sure Kim Turner's is different
it's
than
Kim Turner.
yeah, but I'm sure like her
Oh, right.
curriculum is different than another
Advanced.
like D
Post.
prep curriculum. Or,
Yeah.
I mean it's all certified through post, but it's
Right.
all done differently. So yeah. Have you been to CTO school?
Not with the new agency. I did
Yeah.
with the old.
Yeah.
It's still good.
It's awesome. So I mean some of it's like unrealistic because it's so generalized because it has to be made for, the Central California farming community down to, Newton division of LA. So
The time I was there, the biggest emphasis was in building the bond with your trainee and getting the trust.
yeah,
Which
that's a
I
lot
thought,
of, that's a big part of it still.
which I
I
thought
think
was
that
it's
mentoring
necessary,
is
but at the
important.
same time,
I think that's the new phrase though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not building the bond. Now it's mentoring.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Making
to
them
me-
feel part of the family.
Yeah.
Already,
Right.
You know,
But
as
to
much
me-
as you can.
Like, yeah, I want you to trust me. Whenever I got a trainee, I spent the first few days proving that I know what I'm doing, and I would let them watch me like a fish in a fishbowl.
Oh no, not me.
I
know.
know.
Yeah. I'm like,
See,
hey,
I-
welcome to the center. I'll take 2 or 3 calls and like see what their
See, I would build.
action is.
I made more of an emphasis to build the trust first. Like, I'm going to show you I know what I'm talking about, because then when I start telling you it, you're not going to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I guess I'm more of the,
Yeah. I
if
think so.
if the agency trusts me to train you, then I know what I'm talking about. And you should know that.
You know that. I know that. But some trainee coming in, I'll give you the respect of a new person coming in to let you know that you're learning from someone who's qualified to teach this.
God, you're a cocky son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm like at the end of the first day,
I think it's kind of a necessary quality in this.
I'm one of those people that like at the end of the first day, you're taking an audible call without me.
Oh, that's the beginning of the first.
So like, I meant like, I will
Yeah.
like, no, like I'll
Oh, no,
like,
that's something they should have known from classroom
yeah,
training.
like I won't
That agree
like
with. See, we didn't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense then.
I won't
Yeah.
unplug or anything, but I'll like
No.
roll back and just say, You got your cheat sheet. The questions are always the same.
Yeah, see, we
You're
had
always calm.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, see, we had none of that at our old
Yeah.
agency, and that's where that kind of.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't understand, our current agency does like a 2-week classroom training where you get like basic understandings of like what law is, what a misdemeanor is, the elements of a crime, what a felony is, and all that stuff, and then
How to use the CAD.
how to use
The
basics
equipment,
of like
yeah.
call entry. This is what a phone screen looks like, and all that stuff. And one of the things that we use to teach that is 459 audibles or burglary alarm calls. God, it's so weird saying what it actually is
Right.
instead of just using a code.
It's like in
And-
interviews when we
And
read them
parking
off.
violation
Yeah.
calls.
Yeah.
Parking violation calls.
A suspicious person sitting in a vehicle.
Oh yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
So it's interview questions.
yeah. That's something I still haven't done. Is interview.
Oh, highly recommend.
Well, I would love to, but everybody seems to think I'm
Me?
super intimidating and mean. So
Well, we do 'em via Zoom now. So
I know, but I don't think I'm intimidating just because I'm a giant and yell at people.
I don't find you intimidating.
It's because you're also a giant. Yeah, we're about the same height. You're like 6'4".
you're both a little intimidating.
See? I know.
Not after you
face
know
is
you
lovable
guys.
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
What's yeah? So we're not. I don't think we're intimidating at all.
Not at all. Lovable.
Yeah.
Let's get down to the good stuff.
all right.
Yeah. What's the best place to eat at work?
Hummus
That's
house.
the real question.
Hummus
no,
house.
No. I want to ask that question related to her prior employer.
Oh.
Where did you go when you had the ability to be mobile about the city?
Oh, there used to be a place called Samurai Sam's. It was like a
Not there anymore.
teriyaki bowl type place. Gone.
What other places? Any places that's still there?
There were, well, we used to always love a good Tomboys or bagel. There was a joke. Obviously, I gave away what agency it was, but
Darn.
there were no or no donut shops in all of Beach. There is now. There's 2 actually, but they're bougie donuts.
Like Sidecar?
Sidecar and Blue something. I don't know. In the
I've
Metlox
done-
Plaza. So, but before that, there were 0 donut shops because we were like, oh, we do Jamba Juice and bagels
Yeah.
instead.
We're a healthy community.
Except now it's no carbs. So who
Yeah.
knows?
Have you had a Sidecar donut before?
One.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I mean,
almost
they're
grabbed those for
amazing,
you
but they're
guys,
not
I
worth
thought
the
they'd
money.
be too
Well, that's what
fancy.
I'm saying. It was
They're
like $6
amazing, but they're not worth the
for
money.
a donut.
No,
Yeah.
they're like $4.50.
Yeah.
Don't be
I
crazy.
don't know.
$6 is like Starbucks now,
Is
bro.
this donut going to wash
Just
my
kidding.
car afterwards too?
Yeah, yeah,
Dude,
it's
yeah,
gonna do
right.
your taxes.
Have you gotten a car wash? The car washes are like $45 now.
No, Costco, brother.
Well, if you want a real car wash, it's like $45
That's
now.
true. That's why I go to Costco.
Yeah. It's one of the great things about my 4Runner. I don't care anymore, really.
Yeah, I don't either.
So, but yeah. So at work, though, it's so weird how our shift just loves Hummus House.
We
like,
love Hummus House because we feel
it's
like
freaky.
it's somewhat healthy, fresh.
well, it's, don't get me wrong,
Convenient.
it's delicious, and it's one of the only places that delivers without a massive delivery charge.
Right.
But damn, we love Hummus House.
Yeah.
What's the
It
sandwich
should be our
place?
sponsor.
Rinaldi's.
Oh,
Rinaldi's. That
I do love
can never
Rinaldi's,
remember
too.
that name.
That wasn't in
Oh.
Manhattan before, was it? It wasn't just in El Segundo?
Just in El Segundo, but there's one in Manhattan. Now.
Yeah. Oh my God, the fat boy. Oh, it's so good.
Rinaldi's is very, very good.
Yeah, it's delicious. And then, what was the Chinese food place you always used to order from?
Oh, you can say that name.
Little Asia. I know.
Yeah.
It's getting warm in here talking
Yeah.
about all this
Right?
food.
Wouldn't be dispatch talk without food.
I know. It wouldn't be. So, and then Torrance Bakery for the desserts.
Oh, the maple bars.
Yes.
Torrance Bakery cake.
Although their sheet cakes are like $150,
We can't talk
but it
about
serves
cake
like
without
70 people.
nothing but cakes.
Oh God, yes. So good. That cream cheese frosting. Oh my God.
Delish.
People are literally just going to think we're a bunch of fat asses that do
Oh, is
nothing
this
but
a
eat
show
all day.
about dispatch or food review?
Isn't it the same thing?
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
it is.
are you a dispatcher if you're not an extra
Right.
15, 20 pounds overweight?
That's right.
Now
You
I'm,
can look at some people and go, "Oh, you're new."
now I'm hungry because I haven't really eaten anything all day. Because I'll admit I've a little bit of a headache from last night still.
Oh,
Oh, that's
So
I brought Westchester Bakery.
I don't go that far north, but yes, please.
I know. Here. Do you
what was the
smell it?
beverage of choice last night?
There's cannoli.
Banquet.
Oh, where's banquet?
I didn't
Were
have.
you binge watching Cobra Kai too?
No, I didn't have any Palo tacos.
No Palo
No
tacos.
Palo tacos.
No. Are these mini cream puffs?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet
With
Jesus!
chocolate.
I'm gonna so AMSR this shit.
Oh, but make sure they might.
Might burst on me.
Yes, that's the word. Might leave.
I'm going to scoot the other way.
Pretty good.
It burst.
So
After this food review, Do we have any more serious questions?
What are the 2 biggest incidents of your career that stick out the most, that you remember the most?
They can be funny or serious.
Yes.
I'll give you one of each.
Okay.
Funny one. No one else really thinks this is funny, but I was talking to this hysterical mother on the phone because her child, who I think was like 5, swallowed a penny. You know, it happens. It'll probably come out the other side.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Maybe she'll be a little green.
For your thoughts.
Right. Could cause an obstruction. Who knows?
Doesn't love a good patina.
Child was in no distress, but mom was hysterical, thinking baby's going to die, right?
First kid, probably.
Probably. Going on and on and on. And then, you know, any problems, any breathing issues, stomach ache, anything, nothing. And so she kind of takes some deep breaths and calms down. And she says, we were studying Abraham Lincoln. And then she just starts laughing hysterically. I start laughing. We're all fine. Everything's fine. She's like, I guess it'll come out the other end. I'll call the doctor later if there's a problem. It just was very funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
So remembering studying about Abraham Lincoln calmed her down.
Yes. Because that's
Well, isn't
why
he on a penny?
Right. Because that's why the kid had the penny. They were studying Abraham Lincoln.
There you go.
So that was my little funny one. Of course, the worst one was when I was on the radio and one of our officers was killed on a motorcycle.
Funeral?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the procession.
Yeah. So they were doing go ahead.
The crazy thing is that I wasn't even going to be at work that day because I was going to attend the funeral because the funeral was for a friend of mine.
Yeah. So another police officer got killed in the line of duty.
No, he died from cancer.
Oh, yes, that's right. He died from cancer. My
And
apologies.
they were doing, full.
Yeah, they're doing a procession, and the
procession.
motor
from
officers were.
up to Green Hills.
Yeah, something like that.
So they were going down Hawthorne Boulevard, and motors were doing what motors do, and they were leapfrogging, and one of the motors from one of our other agencies collided with the motor who was killed. And so I was on the radio, and the officer that basically put that out is still working. And so every time I heard his voice for years, it would like shock me.
Yeah.
It still does. So now when I see him in person, he didn't ever realize that I was the one on the other end until probably, within the last year. So it was definitely changed me forever.
Oh, yeah. That's one of those things that you never have to want to hear, but you kind of have to be prepared for when it does and deal with it after. So
it was wild.
Great job for peer support after that.
Right. That's what I was going to say, where peer support came in. But with that call, I think it kind of plays into someone wanting to push you out of the way or help and not help.
Yeah.
The way I needed to deal with it was I needed to do all of it.
Yeah.
I needed to handle everything. They kept trying to get me up. I was like, no, I am seeing this through to the end.
Yeah.
So
leave me alone.
Right.
We organized everything. Torrance, it was in the city of Torrance, so they helped with all the fire stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as organizing the transport and getting intersections blocked off with CHP, we did
the whole 9.
I say we, but I did all of that.
Yeah.
I had to. And I remember, I think you guys talked about it in another episode where somebody, I think it was you, that said when you called LAPD or something, they were like, take a breath or something.
Oh, yeah. When had an officer that got shot, and I called LAPD because we didn't know what the hell was going on. And
we need help.
Yeah, I was just like, I have no idea what's going on. They just said officer got shot and we need help. And the LAPD goes just like, okay, take a breath.
I called CHP to organize the transport and to block all the intersections and all of that. And God bless this woman on the other end, because I wish I would have figured out who it was and talked to her after, because she basically, you could hear the, trembling, even though I thought it was completely calm and,
when you go back and listen, it's not. Yeah.
Probably not. I never went back and listened to any of it ever. I never wanted to. I still don't. And when she answered, she's like, okay, you can do it. She said something. She's like, you're doing a good job. Something to that effect. And I was just like, oh, thank you. I just, thank you for saying that. And thank you for making me stop for half a second just to say,
just take that breath and
okay,
I can do this.
I can finish it.
Yeah.
So it was crazy.
Well, that's one of the, I don't, at least for me, I don't know if it is for you guys, but it's one of the worst things to me about dispatching is you never see anything.
Yeah.
And B, most of the time you never get, I mean, you become callous and used to it, but you never receive closure to anything unless you call 5 people and ask.
Yeah.
If I could say one message for major incidents to the people that we serve, if you have the opportunity, include communications in your debrief.
Oh, you mean like to the agencies that respond out
Yes.
there and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
They've been better
When you
about
debrief
that.
an incident, it would not hurt you to invite a
Yeah.
dispatcher.
Fire does that. Our fire agency does that. If they have a big, like, legit fire,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
probably 3A or bigger, they'll actually have like the full debrief, and the dispatchers will go. And Rob Campbell has a hilarious story about that. If I ever get him on this, oh God, about the
Via
bagels.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, with those, they're getting better with inviting us to those.
Yeah.
I know
But it's-
sometimes, but it's not often enough. And
Yeah. It's also really difficult too.
it is to coordinate
like,
with staffing.
agreed.
and-
Yeah.
Agreed,
Because when
but-
you leave the room, somebody has to come sit in your spot for you.
yeah.
But most of the time, depending on the size of the incident, the debrief doesn't necessarily take place that day.
No, they'll usually have some sort of like
Yeah,
a
it's much
quick
Right.
debrief, but they'll also have like if it's like a big shooting, like
yeah.
I mean, well, for
Like
perfect
the station
example,
one.
yeah, like the station one, it was like they'd have it like a couple weeks later. But like if you get into like major like national level events, like the Route 91 was like 5 or
Route
6
91.
months after
Oh,
the
yeah.
event.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they wait for like the
Well, what you call it just came out, the borderline
the
one.
borderline
It's been years.
after action report.
After action.
Which was, did you read it?
Yeah.
Bits and pieces.
It was. First of all, it was very
Very
well
detailed.
written and very. I mean, it's very detailed. All those are, but it was like, oh shit! Anybody who reads that, you get a lot of good information from it.
yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
So
But going back to dispatchers helping out dispatchers, the episode that you did with Tony and Tori, and they talk about the officer.
yeah,
I don't know if Tori touched upon it or not, but when I was calling LAPD for the airship, placed the call first. I said, hey, there's actively shots being fired. We need an airship. LAPD goes, we're on the way. We hang up. Then Tori broadcasts officer down. I call LAPD right back. I get the same guy.
Mhm.
Hey, what's your ETA? We now have 1 officer down. And you hear his voice crack. And he goes, stay on the phone with me. I was, hey, buddy, we're going to get through this. And I had to like tell him, like,
yeah.
hey,
Walk him
we're going to get through this. I got about 95,000 things I got to do. But if you need me to stay on the phone, I'm here for you, pal. Let's just get that thing in the air over our air so we can figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hilarious afterwards. I played it back for everybody. You just hear him like he hit puberty.
Yeah. Hey man, it happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just part of life, I guess. So because you always think that you're going to be fine whenever this things happen, but
Yeah.
as soon as it does, you get that pucker moment of oh shit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then you're like, okay,
Yeah. I just remember this scream of like, get everyone here now. And that's all I could hear for like months. So, yep. It's pretty wild. To their credit, though, back to that incident, Lauren did invite me over to the station, like to hang around with everybody afterwards. And
Oh, that's cool.
the thing I will remember is the debrief that had, because the officer's funeral, there was an officer. So I went back there for their debrief, and I will never forget Chief allowing she did a great job controlling, like she had the whole city there for the debrief because everyone was affected, and then she politely asked everyone who wasn't part of the department to leave. And the reason I got into public safety at all, my aunt was a captain at so she, kind of stood up and said, hey, this is my niece. She was the dispatcher. Is it okay if she stays? And she said, of course, she's part of our family. So that was like, we don't get that. If other people aren't familiar with our agencies and how our center works, we aren't part of any one department. So
yeah, we're Joint Powers Authority.
makes things a little different. But for her to include me and to call me a member of the family, I really appreciated that, and that really went a long way.
Yeah, so
Yep.
makes a difference.
It does.
So that was some deep shit we just got into.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was.
Damn.
That was,
And that segues to peer support.
Yes, it does.
So,
So how'd you get into peer support?
but through that, basically,
Oh, it was that incident?
I mean, that kind of opened my eyes to the fact, like, hey, nobody cares about us. Maybe our own people should care about our own people. So our peer support program at our agency is very informal at this time. Jeanette and I are members of peer support, so we've had a lot of training, and we go through with them. So we're technically members of their team. So when one of their officers was also killed on a motor.
Yeah.
On his way into work. We did a lot of peer support with the department. We were at the hospital and with the family, and you kind of just fill in because nobody really wants to talk at that point, right?
No, you're just a body there
just a body there to show support.
Yeah.
Just, when something happens like that, it's just the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a number, it's great. If you can help in any way, awesome. But if you're just physically there saying like, hey, you want some water?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a big thing.
Yeah.
You want food?
You're like the human version of Scotty.
Yeah, exact. Scotty, our therapy dog it's the best dog in the world.
I remember, I wasn't there for it, but there's a story about that same incident, the motor officer that got killed, where they were in lobby, and I think it was lobby. But anyways, it was a family member of the other person, the car that hit the motor, and his family was in there, and like supposedly Scotty just walked into the room and went like a fucking shot right to the family and just put his head in their lap. Like he could just sense that was like, oh, this is where I need to be, and went right to him.
Yeah. I have another Scotty story when Luna died. And we went to the hospital after that, and we're standing there as they brought him out of the ER. Scotty just went up and sat like right at whoever his partner was, just kind of sat at his feet, and just, I think we have pictures of him just, so sad.
Yeah.
He's such a smart dog.
Dogs are the best, right? We do not deserve dogs in any way, shape, or form.
He's way better than us.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's kind of how peer support came about, us being interested in it anyways.
Yeah.
Most of the departments have their own teams. So we just sort of help when there's, when the Huntington Beach officer was just killed, I went down there to their station.
Helicopter crash?
The helicopter crash.
The Huntington Beach one, not the LASO one, because
right, they're all
who's ever had two helicopter crashes in a month?
Right. Wild.
Yeah. And one of them a giant Sikorsky.
Right.
That costs so much money.
Oh.
Side note.
Yeah. Thank goodness they're all fine. But we went down there to their department to provide some peer support. Basically bring food, stand around and say, hey, anybody need anything?
That Huntington Beach one, like I haven't really read much on it, but I heard that it just basically went, I don't know how it went down, but it went down in the ocean, and the reason they died was they basically drowned, I think, because they were in the water for like 2 minutes before anybody could actually get inside the helicopter, because it wasn't a 180 upside down, but it was like so far turned over.
I saw some photos where it appeared it was on its side because some of the rotors were sticking straight up.
Yeah. So I'm obviously we don't work for them. I don't know, but that's just like a couple of the articles I read in the paper. But that has to be. I remember on a story like that, I was working has its own municipal airport, and it was like 2:30 in the morning. I don't know if I told the story on this show or not already. But it was like 2:30 in the morning on like a random Wednesday, right? Nothing's going on. They're like, the phone hasn't rang in like 4 hours. Everybody is just trying to keep themselves awake and watching Cheaters. And I'm sitting there, and then all of the sudden, like I'm like so bored, right? And all of a sudden, LAPD Air 7, I think is what it is, like LAPD Air 7 South Bay. And I'm like, yeah, great. He's like, calmest, like the conversation we're having right now, right?
I wasn't sleeping. Go ahead, sir.
No. Like literally like the conversation we're having now. He's like, we have a main engine failure and we are declaring an emergency. We are crash landing at the Hawthorne Airport. Can you please have LA County Fire stand by? And I was like,
hold on one sec. I got to change.
Yeah. I like clicked on, I'm like, TFR. And then I literally just picked up the phone. Like I didn't say anything OTA to the PD units, because I just clicked on the county fire hotline, and like all the units just started going, obviously. Right. And I didn't even say anything. So I'm on the phone fire, and I was like, so LAPD said they're going to crash land at our airport. And the dispatcher on there for the fire dispatcher was just like, well, damn. Okay. And then just, they made up whatever their call is and all that stuff. And the other thing I remember is, I don't remember who the sergeant was, but one of the sergeants, all the shift was there, right? They're just like, we don't know where they're going to be. So just surround the airports, open all the gates so they can come and go wherever they want. And the LAPD air unit, the sergeant was like coordinating the units in the perimeter, and the LAPD airship was like, hey guys, can you turn your lights off? We can't see. And they'd like shut down all their emergency lights.
Wow.
But if they auto-rotated down and landed, no problem, no what. But I was just like, holy shit. That was a pucker moment.
Yeah, that'll wake you up.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's the rarest thing ever is an aircraft crash for law enforcement, probably. But yeah.
Is that probably the most unique set of circumstances you've ever had to dispatch?
Yeah, unique being like probably dispatch. Yes,
Yeah.
not working, but dispatch. Yes,
Dispatch.
the most unique call I think we've ever had in while I was working was when
Don't take away because I'm gonna ask Dawn next.
No, I don't know if you were working too. It was when the ultralight crashed like 400 feet from our building.
Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah,
was there for that.
Yeah, like that
When
was
Jason Moulton was driving right by it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
one? Yeah.
yeah. And the reason why that was so unique was
Yeah.
simply
Yeah.
because I remember having a conversation like a week before with somebody about our building, and I'm like, we were right in. Have you ever thought, because you could hear the planes go all the time,
Right.
And I was just talking to, I forgot who it was. I was talking to somebody. I'm like, we're just like in the flight path of all these planes.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, if just a plane ever fell into our building, like it would be like literally a disaster because we handle so much stuff. And like a week later, an ultralight crashed like 400 feet from our door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fell short. Fell in the creek, didn't it?
No, that was a
No,
different one. That
that's
was on
another-
Crenshaw.
I don't think it was an ultralight. It was a plane.
Oh, it was a real plane?
Yeah. The ultralight was the one that went in the canal.
In the canal of Crenshaw?
Channel, yeah.
Yeah, that one's off Crenshaw 120, and it didn't make the airport. This one
Yeah.
took off and had some sort of failure and just went right down.
Oh, okay.
Into a
yeah. Because I'm thinking of the
townhouse.
ultralight
Yeah.
that hit the
Yeah.
Dominguez Channel.
Yeah, no,
No,
that was a different
too.
one.
That one also.
Yeah, I think that is the most unique. Like that will probably never happen again in my
Right.
career.
Yeah, that's where I was
Yeah.
going with that question. How about you?
Were you there for the dog?
I don't think I was on duty, but oh my gosh, you haven't talked about the dog yet?
I don't remember. We might have.
Oh, well.
I've only posted at the
unfortunately-
time we're recording this. I've only posted 3 episodes, but I've got like 7 of them.
Okay. Well,
they're all
one
kind
of
of-
our cities was involved in the international news of the officer shooting the dog.
Yeah.
So that in itself wasn't that unique,
No.
but the aftermath of it
Yeah.
was the most insane time to have ever worked there. More so than
We did talk about it because I remember Tori
Okay.
talked about, because Tori was like, I took the first call from this guy in Germany
oh
or something
my
like that.
gosh, international. I mean, and for weeks it went
Yeah.
on. And people, I mean, I'm surprised we haven't had one recently. People
I had
called
one like
for
a few months ago.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
for years. How could you do that? Look at the date,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, they call and they're just like,
Yeah.
I just watched this video on YouTube, and I interrupt and I'm like, sir, that was in like years ago. Like,
Yeah.
what's the date on the video on there? And he's just like, well, it's from 20 whatever, and I'm like,
No, the original date.
yeah, but no, but he was just like, well, but this is still wrong. I'm like, okay, hold on, let me transfer you to the front desk,
Right.
and I would transfer him over there. I remember for that incident, they set up a hotline at the front desk, and the officers were just,
Yeah.
are you calling about the dog? Yeah, okay, here's a recording, click, and they would just send him to like a recording.
I had another one where a pursuit went all the way to Santa Monica and then onto the beach, and then they were running around on the beach. That was pretty funny. And then where they ran into the ocean, and they were like, well, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Those are funny. I don't know. Otherwise,
Where you just sit there on the beach and wait. You got to come out sometime, bro.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of funny ones that you can think of. People put stuff where they shouldn't. You know, those are funny. Or I
Well,
need to
it wasn't-
speak to a male dispatcher.
I had to pass one off to Kathy one time.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But there was another one where I'm not sure if it's the Hyperion plant or the power plant, but they have the big giant suction pumps underneath the ocean that pull all the water in.
Yeah.
And you get like, when they go there to clean them, like bodies had stuck on them
Oh,
and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
imagine being that scuba diver.
Fun stuff.
I broadcasted a natural disaster. Confirmed tornado strike. Took a roof off a house. And I got disciplined because the officer I sent was from Kansas. And yes, I said there's no place like home on the radio.
Oh, my goodness.
Good job, Dorothy.
Good job.
Yep. Oh,
Okie.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's the one that I'll remember forever.
Jesus.
No injuries. Confirmed ripped a roof off a house. And it was right by McManus Park next to the creek.
Yeah.
What I find also interesting is the guy from Oklahoma was dispatching a guy from Kansas, and they're talking about a tornado in Southern California.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how when you just sit there and think about how many just random weird, like we could sit here like for hours and just be like, hey, do you remember this weird random thing that happened? And it's
so
like,
many
yeah.
things.
So that's like when, do you hate it as much as me when they find out what you do, they're like, oh, what's the craziest call you've taken?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, every time.
And you're like,
I don't
define
remember.
crazy.
Yeah.
I usually go to Frank's spatula call.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
what I
it's
was
just-
talking about. Yeah, people putting stuff
It's kind
where
of
they
like the
should.
same thing when you run into a doctor. What's the weirdest thing you've seen in the ER?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole TV show on that. It's terrible. It's on
Oh,
TLC.
yeah, yeah.
Untold Stories of the ER.
Oh, yeah.
See, these are the graveyard things
Was
that
that
people
the
don't
one
know
that
about.
we have on in the dispatch center sometime and
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
the fake reenacting?
Yeah.
There's a new
Oh,
one
that show's
Oh, there
terrible.
is?
called Stuck.
Oh, really? I still like Botched more.
Where?
I don't know, TLC, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like Botched. Botched is a great show.
Watched it so
We watch
bad.
so much crap.
the plastic surgery.
Yeah.
They screwed
Gone
up my
wrong.
body show.
Yeah, it's where people
Yeah.
come into these two
And they've
doctors
got
and
like cement for
Yeah,
boobs and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Like I think they're in Beverly Hills or Santa Monica or something like that, and it's all these people who have had botched plastic surgeries done because they went where it was cheap, and they come into these two doctors and they fix them.
Yeah,
The
don't do
grossest one. Do you remember the one we used to watch about the feet?
that. Oh yeah.
Oh, that show was so good.
Yeah.
We used to watch it was
Better than Pimple Popper.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But Pimple Popper's great too.
Yeah, that's
There's a lot of people on our current shift that don't like Pimple Popper though.
I know they're weird.
Don't get us wrong. We actually do get work done at work, but we also see some weird stuff on TV.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, we
just
have
for
a great shift.
just for clarity, we'll sit and answer 150 phones each
Yeah.
on a shift. If you're sitting for complaints for 12 hours and watch Pimple Popper.
Right. And that's
And-
well within 8 hours.
Yeah. So, yeah. But
My story about when I was so nervous. So I've done, I don't know how many neighborhood watch meetings. Oh, a lot. You've done a couple with me?
I've done a couple with you and then I did a couple with James.
Okay. So usually they're kind of small settings, right? You'd say maybe 10 to
10, 12
20
people tops.
Would you guys go to people's houses?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in El Segundo mostly. So I've done a couple other ones, I did a couple city council meetings, couple other things, but it was pretty this is what they're going to ask you, and this is, what what it's about. So I would know, right? Well, I did one and the way they do their neighborhood watch meetings is by district. So they only have 3 districts. So we did one at Raleigh Park, and I walk in, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of people here. I didn't really know. I was going to wing it like I usually do, just whatever questions people have, I'll answer your questions.
Crowd showed up to see Dawn.
Crowd showed up to see Dawn and Jeanette. And thank God she was there because she thrives in that sort of environment. I was like,
She is the people person.
she's the people person. She's the spokesmodel. So I get up there to say my stuff. I get through a bit. I somehow probably forgot to breathe because I was like, and she, she saves me and basically I'm like, can't get through hardly any of it. I try my best, do what I can.
Do you have a
and then
cheat
let her
sheet that
take
you
over.
use?
Yeah, they didn't really give us a lot to say, so it was just sort of talk about this, and I'm like,
I was free range.
yes. So
What are some of the topics that you discuss in neighborhood watch meeting?
when I do the smaller ones, usually we'll go over what the call screen looks like, so they have an idea of why we ask things in the order that we do and why we ask certain things. Yeah, so we actually show them a picture of it. We show them what the center looks like. This is why the person on the phone is not the person on the radio, and just different things to kind of explain what we do. And a lot of it is fielding questions.
Yeah.
And building relationships.
Yeah. I remember I did it with James a couple times and it was just I would very, very simply break down, you call 911, it goes to me.
Mm-hmm.
I put information in a computer, which goes to the dispatcher. The dispatcher then uses the radio to talk to the officers. The officers then respond and actually talk to you in person.
Right.
So when you call, you're actually talking to 5 different people who
You're playing a game
and
of
my
operator.
job,
Yeah.
well, I tell them, I even tell new trainees this, I'm like, our job is to translate citizen to police,
Yes.
and that's it.
Yeah.
And then that's when people are like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're very naive to what we do, which is, not to,
Yeah, we're very naive to what 90% of other
exactly.
professions
I don't
are.
know what
Right.
astrophysicists do. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So,
I watch Big Bang Theory, I know.
that's right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Raj.
Have you guys ever had it where the neighborhood watch block captains come in and do sit-alongs with you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, those are fun.
No, but I remember doing, is it the Citizens Academy?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
Did that
Did
too.
that one too.
So have you guys ever heard Pressgraves' story?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Which one?
So Pressgraves,
accident.
his accident.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So
a whole presentation. There's
yeah,
a
they do a whole
video.
presentation, and I didn't know that. I didn't know the story because I was working graveyard at the time it happened. And he got into he was doing, I think he just pulled somebody over for a DUI investigation or something like that.
He was on the way to back somebody, and
Oh,
he
okay.
was flying, I think, pretty fast.
Yeah.
Oh, 3, as
Yeah.
he should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got in a TC, and
Yeah, basically the car went from a full-size Ford Crown Vic to a motorcycle
yeah,
size
Yeah.
because it hit so hard.
yeah.
I remember the sergeant that was the first one on scene after, he wasn't a sergeant at the time, but in that presentation saying Pressgraves was unconscious and he crawled into the car, basically like over the windshield, I guess, and 2 Pressgraves.
Yeah.
And the first thing he thought when he looked at him is, I have to take Pressgrave's gun because if he wakes up right now, he's just going to shoot me because he sees a guy crawling over him after he just woke up out of nowhere.
Pressgraves was not quite your size, but he was a much bigger guy
Yeah.
than he is now. So
Yeah.
he was a big guy in a small car.
Yeah. So I remember
And he did wake up and fight him.
Yeah, because he woke up out of him, and I remember, I'll never forget, I was like, holy shit. And I saw the presentation. I was like, I'm really glad I wasn't working that night. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then they also tell, I think during that same presentation, they tell about, what's the officer that got killed?
Gans.
Martin Gans.
Martin Gans' story. Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
So that was one I definitely wouldn't want to work.
No.
Yeah, I wasn't working. That was before I had started working. That was in the 80s. But I remember it because I had just met him at the open house at Manhattan Station. And so I knew exactly who it was. I was like, oh, no, sad.
Yeah. So have you heard that story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right along.
Yeah, I was at El Camino at the time, and one of the instructors was a sheriff's commander or something like that and knew the story, and he told it in class.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my dad was a Torrance, at that time, he was a Torrance undercover sergeant, and Torrance helped out doing the undercover investigation for the suspect in that killed the officer, and they were up in the valley. And my dad even told me, he's just like, I mean, it was a no holds barred. Like there was like the undercover investigation, he said, was like 100 plus people, just everybody in the valley just looking for this guy. Like that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing I will say about police work. It's like
They take care of their own.
oh yeah, like you see it in like
Find him
movies
in,
and stuff like that.
Oregon
and,
or something?
yeah, they found him out of state somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty legit when things go real sideways. Like, do you remember the I don't remember the name of the theater, but the shooting
Pacific Theater.
Pacific.
I was on that night.
That's why we.
Yeah. So I remember that night too. It was just
Chaos.
it was chaos, and I remember just seeing pictures and after the fact, and like you couldn't like see around this building without seeing a ocean of police cars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was, if I remember correctly, we had like 95 units there in like sub 2 minutes. I mean, that's how crazy it is. And like if you're from Watonga. Imagine how long it would take to get 95 police cars to Watonga.
It'd take a while.
Yeah. I mean, 2 minutes. It was just, you couldn't do anything. It was so bad. Like the fire department couldn't even move their units anymore. Yeah. They were just stuck in there. Yeah. It was crazy. So good old, was it Batman? No, it was it was a Keanu Reeves movie.
Matrix?
No.
Oh, that's a good.
It was a gangster movie that he was in. And it was some gangster movie, and the guy wanted a refund, and the theater said no, and I think the lieutenant at the time was working overtime, walked up to him, and guy just turned around and shot him in the head. Yeah. Shot the lieutenant in the head. And I think he survived, I think. Yeah.
They both did.
Yeah.
So. Isn't one of them still working?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One's still working.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, we've had more action at our agency than most agencies, I think, do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't say more than like LAPD, New York, or Chicago, but
right.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy.
Well, yeah. And I think just, again, hitting on that wildly vast demographic of people that we have.
Oh, yeah.
All kinds of crime. Mm-hmm. So.
And you can't even afford to buy a house.
And you can't buy a house.
You got to admit,
unless you're Jason.
Where we work, I don't live in any of the
The
communities.
rich son of a bitch.
I don't live in any of the communities we serve.
No, you just live on the peninsula.
Nope.
Fence.
I can see it. I don't live on it. But no, with the agencies that we serve, we have every end of the spectrum.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You'll get done answering and taking a 211 that just occurred or a robbery that just occurred, shots fired, and then 10 seconds later, there's a car parked blocking my driveway.
The ocean
It's
is
got 4 wheels.
especially loud today.
Yeah. The ocean stinks.
The ocean fart.
Yeah. Well, we get a lot of calls on that.
Yes.
No, my friend, when he was in training, I remember he said he got a call of loud ocean. I'm like, what? The person lived on the Strand and really wanted him to come out there and check the decibels of the ocean because it sounded especially loud. And they said, would you like to trade houses?
Wait. I would really like to ask that reporting party what the solution would have been.
Right. I don't know what they thought, that there was some
This goes back to my be prepared.
Wild.
If you're going to call for something, be prepared.
Yeah.
What's
well,
the solution?
That's a question.
Shut
I
your
teach
windows.
my trainees.
Right.
And what would you like the police to do to help you with this today? In the nicest way possible, tactfully. But, what would you like us to do? And they usually have an answer. Sometimes they're like, well, I just thought you should know.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Well, he just doesn't belong.
He doesn't belong.
Yeah.
My career in law enforcement started
Before most of us were born.
October of 94.
I
would say the biggest.
I was in high school.
I would say the biggest change is the amount of issues we will address today and entertain.
Yeah. I think you touched on it before about the difference between civil and criminal. And
The definition of the police department being a law enforcement agency has gone away.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Now we are a entertain any aspect of your life agency.
Well,
it's a more
mostly.
of a public
service.
Public service.
Right.
From our perspective, I would say yes, we do that, but from our agencies cancel a lot of stupid stuff.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. But for us, we don't have the authority to cancel that, and I get why, because we represent the city, but we're not the city.
Right.
So the city has to do that.
I have no complaint and totally understand every aspect of that. But even some of the things these officers are responding to and dealing with. I mean, they are diffusing a lot of situations that never involved a criminal act in the first place.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. There's a guy that's been sleeping on the park bench for the last 3 weeks. I called you 5 times. I'm like,
During the day when the park is open to the public.
Well, I love that. If they didn't do anything the first 4 times, what makes you think they're going to do anything? You don't tell them that, but you're like, what makes you think they're going to do anything now if they didn't do it the first 4 times?
And the definition of an idiot is...
Yeah. Well, oh, God, who is that? That's Albert Einstein. It's insanity to think that something's going to change if you do it the same every time or something like that. I'm obviously paraphrasing because I'm not that smart.
The definition of insanity is expecting a different outcome with the same
set of
problem.
circumstances.
Yeah.
Sure.
Circumstances.
Something like that. Anyways.
It's like me and eating. I want to get skinnier, but I love food.
But
I'll go a step further with crazy calls of why are people always calling about they don't like the service they received at a mechanic?
Right.
What?
Because they want their money back,
Right.
and they think the police are going to come give them their money back.
We're not going to make them give you your money back.
Yeah, that's a civil issue. But that's a whole nother conversation of the failure of our public school system to educate people on how life really works.
Right.
Well, just the mere fact of people existing.
Right.
I mean, we get calls about people complaining about people existing.
Yeah. You can say it. It's
Literally.
okay. Lots of calls about there's a black person walking down my street. And then you ask them,
I wasn't even going that route.
What is suspicious about them?
I wasn't even going that route. I was more going the amount of transient calls, but they're not stationary. Like I see a transient walking.
I see one.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
They're on the beach.
And?
It's like, yes, there's a lot of people on the beach.
The beach is open to the public. He is a member of the public. Yeah. Why are we talking?
Right.
Well, he's in a tent. You can't have a tent on the beach.
True.
And you're like, okay, we'll go tell him to take his tent down, but he can still be on the beach.
Right.
Yeah. He's not on your $30 million home property using your hose to shower. If he gets there, which he will, call us and we'll come move him along, and we'll move him to the beach.
Right.
To public property.
Yeah.
Where he is a member of the public.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I get it because, don't get me wrong, at my apartment complex, if there's a transient in front, I call the cops too and say, hey, can you come move him along? He's blocking, but I know what to say, right? He's blocking the sidewalk or he's blocking access to the driveway. And then they have to come out, right? But he's really just sitting there. And I get it. It looks bad. You don't want some transient sitting in front of your property.
So you lie to the police?
No, because I make sure that he's doing one of those things beforehand. I'll go tell him to stand right there. Oh,
yeah. So you set him up.
Just wait right
there.
Entrapment.
No, it's not. I know it's not there. I know they're not going to.
Entrapment.
They're not going to arrest him. Maybe.
Oh, boy.
So it's true, though. I mean, nobody wants a transient sitting in front of their house.
Agreed.
Yeah. Send them all to the beach. Perfect place.
Perfect.
You know?
Just because you don't go to the beach.
Well, we could be LA and spend, $80 million on housing, and they're just building like $400,000 apartment complexes for these people and giving them away.
The park by my house.
Yeah.
That's super. People have some vivid imaginations.
Well, I mean, I'll tell the story of when I was in training, and we took a call. I didn't take. I was dispatching with Adrian, and I think Tony took the call. I don't remember. At the tracks on the south side of the airport, and there was a transient sleeping under the rail cars in the summer to stay cool.
Don't do that.
Yeah, and they had come and just attached the rail cars, I guess, without looking underneath first. I would assume that they don't look underneath every time. I don't know. But yeah, the train started going while this transient was sleeping underneath, and it literally chopped both of his legs off. And it was like, I found it after the fact because I called and asked that it like somehow, as soon as it rolled over his legs, it like cauterized the wounds on his legs. I was like, oh my God. And the weird part is, like, I was in training, and
did he sound a little feminine right there?
That was very interesting.
The weird part is, like, I just broadcasted to cancel it. Like, I didn't think that we should have to respond to that for anything, and like everybody
with severed legs was an information only broadcast.
Yeah, because they're just gonna scoop him to the hospital and run. But that was my first intention.
You don't think there's any chance of a crime scene or investigation to be done there at all?
Well, I was on training, so no, I didn't know at the time. I was
severed legs.
Yeah. Anyways.
Next time you'll know.
So I broadcast the call and started to cancel it. And the whole room was just like, no, you have to send somebody. And I'm like, shit, okay, sorry. Okay. My bad. So I sent somebody.
That would have been a good one for
and you know what they did? They probably cleared it ADAST.
Probably.
You don't remember?
I don't. This was,
I'm pretty sure DR was pulled.
It was 13 years ago. Yeah.
So. Severed legs, I'm going to go DR was pulled.
I mean, maybe it was.
Or the railroad authority handled it.
Yeah, I'm sure the railroad came out and took care of it. So, well, that obviously didn't take care of it, but let's just say he probably wasn't poor the rest of his life.
They just cut the guy a check and called it good. I was going to ask, do either of you have any routine in the morning that you do to get ready?
Run.
Yeah, Dawn. Yeah. We start at 6, and Dawn's like in the 59. Center at like 59:50.
Yeah,
rolling in.
Yeah, I haven't been late.
Yeah, so I walk in
my house on a good day. I leave my house. I know I can take my time at 5:44.
Oh my God, that is so nice.
What?
5:44. I know I need to hurry up.
That's how exact we are.
5:48. When I leave my house, I'm like, oh, I'm probably gonna have to go a little bit fast.
What's the mileage? One way.
Like 4 miles, maybe.
Maybe.
Like it's how many exits is it?
You know where I am.
It's like 5 exits from our place.
I know the like crossroads.
General area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hop on at Howard Hughes?
La Tierra.
Oh, La Tierra.
I'm the same way though. Like I know that I have to leave my house. I'm in Fullerton, right? So I know I have to leave my house at 4:45 to get to work at between 5:15 and 5:20. I sit in my car until 5:30. I go in at 5:30. I get everything ready. I walk in the center at 5:55. This is how fucking weird I am. I go to my chair. I raise the desk up. I stand for at least 30 minutes because, I want to stand for at least 30 minutes of my day. And then I don't have a drink until after 30 because I just brush my teeth while I'm at work and I don't want to mix the Listerine with everything else that I'm drinking. Okay. Like, it's usually not coffee, but coffee and Listerine are like death. Yeah. So,
do you drink coffee? Because I never see you with it.
Very rarely. Very rarely. It's not one of those, like, I drink it because it tastes good.
You're a 1%er. That's weird.
Yeah.
Everybody drinks.
And I drink black coffee because I think it tastes good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No cream, no sugar for me.
Yeah. So I do that.
I'm not a coffee racist. I'll have any kind of coffee.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Starbucks, Pete's, none of that.
Oh, I like good coffee. Don't get me wrong. But I will drink Black Folgers coffee.
I just
coffee.
refuse to pay $6 for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. I just can't do that. But anyway, so like 5:30, I sit down and then daily mail it for 10, 20 minutes. Yeah. Because it's the most horribly best news ever.
Yeah.
And then I play the daily Sudoku.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
You're good at that. I can't figure that out.
I hate Wordle. God, I hate Wordle.
I like Wordle.
Can't stand it.
Now I do Wordle. Gets the brain going.
So here's my dumbass in Wordle. That's if that didn't give it away right there.
That's your problem.
You can't spell.
Well, so I have horrible spelling, right?
Oh, I know. Spell check is your best friend.
Yes. Yeah. Like when I was in training with Adrian, I would misspell the, and she would like, you put the E before the H. I had to think there.
It's only 3 letters.
I know. But anyway, so like, so I'm doing like Wordle and like, I'll like, say it starts with W and ends with D. So I'm like, oh, it's wood. And I would type like.
Until you found out it's only 4 letters long.
Wood, W-O-U-L-D.
Oh, wood.
I would go. So I would type would go like 3 times. I'm like, shit. And I only get 5 chances. I would keep using like the same letter that's grayed out and I know it's not right, but I'm like, maybe it's over here. I'm just spelling it wrong.
No.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it.
Well,
The definition of an idiot is
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
One more time.
yeah. But I will say that we used to do the crossword puzzles.
oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
Remember that?
We would
did
have,
that
like-
on Graveyard.
Yeah, the whole shift we would be like shouting across the
Yeah.
room. What's the answer to
get back to
this?
that.
4-letter word for.
Yeah, it's too busy, I think, on days.
Yeah.
Maybe on the weekends, like Saturday, you might be able to.
like
morning.
Sundays.
Yeah,
before
Sunday
the
morning
races
probably.
start.
Yeah.
But the problem is Sunday morning, it's always the hardest
It's a
crossword
really
puzzle.
hard one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes more
We
time.
got 10 brains.
By the way, kids, Sunday.
Yeah.
Totally off topic. We have to turn left and right this weekend.
Yeah, racing.
Oh, I won't be there this weekend. I will
gonna
be.
pretend I didn't
I
hear
have
that.
one
Yeah.
holiday. It is for my son's basketball game, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
will not be there.
Well,
got-
we'll be cheering him on in spirit.
All right.
yeah. We got F1 at Jeddah, Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
and then they're in Coda for NASCAR.
Okay. Listen, I was warned that we couldn't make this a sports podcast.
We aren't.
Go
That's all we're
Kings,
saying.
go.
In case you haven't figured it out, we watch F1 racing and NASCAR at work.
And Kings.
And the Kings games. Well, we watch the
We
Kings
watch
games
all
when
sports.
Dawn's there.
Yeah, when I'm there.
And for some reason, during March, we always watch basketball, but the
Yeah.
rest of the time, we never watch basketball.
I know, because we don't care until it's March Madness.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind
That's
of like
true. And a
football.
couple of weeks beforehand, I'll watch the conference.
No, there's
tournament
16
just to get an
straight
idea.
weeks of football on those TVs, especially if
Depends
Sonia's
who's there.
working.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if it's, she's a Dolphins fan
Uh-huh.
and, they're
No one's
the
going.
second worst team in history.
That too.
So, but she doesn't even care. She's just like, yeah, I'll watch anything. And no offense, Sonia. I love you. You're going to be on the show at some point in time, even though you don't want to be. But
Yes, she needs to be
Oh,
Yeah.
she's going to be here.
Yeah.
I
With
know.
her sister.
with
yeah.
Cindy.
Okay.
With her sister.
I can.
It's going to be you're going to have to because we'll just get into a shouting match.
I'm good at that.
But we'll
Be
go
good
out
show.
drinking afterwards.
Right.
So, yeah.
And
All
think-
of us will go out drinking. You're always included in that.
I think
I'm one of those.
Universal.
I was
Only
going to
ones who
say,
show up.
no offense, you haven't been on shift in the last 6 months, but Dawn, I,
And
and then
Nadia.
Nadia are like the three
Yeah.
that go out drinking after work.
Hey, when I was on the shift, I showed up.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Well, we need to reinstate that.
And you'd bring your
Okay.
son with his little
Game Boy thing.
Game Boy thing.
Yeah. Just let him sit
That's
there
how
and play
old we
video
are.
games.
Game Boy.
I know we're old.
Um,
Atillery.
and I think universally, though, everybody pretty much enjoys baseball.
Meh. Yeah. Sure.
Baseball's great. I love baseball, but the problem with baseball is it takes 3 hours
Yeah.
for 5 minutes of actual activity.
Okay. But it kills 3 hours in a 12-hour day.
Yeah. I think we like all sports.
That is true.
At some point of the year.
Yes. don't get me wrong. I'd much rather go to a baseball game.
Absolutely.
And I'd much rather go to a hockey game.
Oh,
But I would
very
much
fun.
rather watch every other sport on TV. I think baseball and hockey are the two best sports live. Football, I'm
No,
sorry, people are going to hate
football's
me.
terrible live.
Football sucks live.
Unless you're
It
pretty
sucks.
close.
Think about it. When was the last football game you went to live?
I went to the Rams Cardinals playoff game this year.
And did you watch the giant jumbotron more, or did you watch the field more?
The field.
Really?
I did. I
You
had
must
good
have had
seats.
decent seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had good seats.
That's why.
I think the really the great thing about going to a football game is tailgating.
Yeah. I like college football better.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh,
Because
yeah.
college is better
They're
at every
playing
sport
harder.
Yeah.
because they have something to play for.
Yeah,
That's right.
True.
Professionals just play for money.
However,
That's true.
just this year, tailgating, NASCAR.
Oh, wow.
Oh, did you tailgate it in
my
NASCAR?
God. Well,
Fontana?
went to Fontana this year. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Got there like 4 hours. It was just Justin and I.
Yeah.
Got there like 4 hours early.
Uh-huh.
The smells of all the food.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
oh, these people are.
And the people watching.
Oh.
Next time you got to do the infield thing. That's so fun.
But so we're walking through. I'm like, oh, that smells great. And they're the friendliest people in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friendliest people. They're like,
Well,
you
it's
wanna fight?
NASCAR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of do.
So have you ever been to an NHRA event?
No, I haven't done the drag
You
racing.
have to. Have you?
When I was little at Irwindale.
Okay. Yeah. So you have to go to the Winter Nationals. It's at Fontana.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like it's awe-inspiring because like it's hard to explain. I'll have to find the fact sheet. Tori sent it to me a long time ago. But like you can literally feel your organs shake
Oh, I
when the
believe
cars drive past.
believe
Oh,
it.
yeah. Well,
And
even
it's-
NASCAR if you sit close.
Yeah. But I mean, these like a NASCAR is like what 400 or 500 horsepower.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, a top fuel funny car is 10,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. So if you get a chance
Sounds like
and you
a
enjoy
Team B
racing,
outing.
yeah, you should go to Winter Nationals.
See, that's the thing. I know nothing about it.
It's
Cars go
stupid fast cars going in a straight line for a quarter mile.
Right.
That's it. I mean, it sounds really stupid, but it's so cool.
Well, that's what people say about racing. And then you'll go to a race and you'll be like, that was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's people at NASCAR event, people watching is almost better than Las Vegas.
Oh, it's pretty fun.
You will see some unique characters there.
Oh,
That's
imagine
for
NASCAR in Las Vegas.
Did you see Formula One is getting a Vegas stop next year?
Oh.
They're in Miami this year too.
Yeah, 3
That's a
U.S.
party.
stops: Texas, Miami, and Vegas.
Whoa. Party.
Yeah. So, but we do like hockey, but hockey is just so much better live. So
I
much
think I'm
better
going to go
live.
to a Golden Knights game in a couple weeks.
Oh, that's very fun. I think if you
I wouldn't be
get
conscious.
the game very well, though, Jeff, it's fun to watch on TV, too.
Oh, it's fun to watch. Yeah, it's absolutely fun to watch on TV. But like hockey live is
Live is
just
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for the $16 beer.
Yeah, it's
That's not
cheaper
fun.
at the Crypt than at Honda Center. Honda's even more expensive.
The Crypt.
I'm trying to make it go viral.
You mean Staples?
Yes, it's Staples Center forever.
Yeah.
Is crypto really cheaper than the Honda Center?
Yes.
Yeah. The Honda Center does bougie beer now too. They're all Brewery X, right?
Yeah, Brewery X,
Shout out to Hawthorne PD.
Hawthorne PD.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Honda Center, like a hot dog and a beer is like $50. I don't know. It's crazy. It's not that much, but it's a
That's
lot.
terrible.
Yeah. It's almost as expensive as Dodger Stadium,
I think it's
who still
more.
has the best garlic fries in existence.
Have to try it.
That's what we need to do. I mean, Liz wanted to do this and kind of do this every now and then, Liz Pinella,
Oh,
where you would do like three or four people would go to a Dodger game.
no.
We should do
that's
like a
fun.
team be outing for the
Yeah.
Dodger game.
Yeah, let's.
I
do
think we'd get enough people where you could do. Have you ever seen if you get 20 plus, you get a package deal or something?
it. Yeah.
No, I've never been to a baseball game with 20 people. I don't have that many friends.
We did it
We
once
did it
with
as a group, but we sat.
Stephanie's
way-
coworkers with teachers. We had enough for a package deal, and it's actually
Pretty cool.
deal.
yeah.
Do they put your name on the jumbotron and welcome
Well, you
you?
can,
And
but we didn't.
Yeah.
It's an offer, but the point is, it'll really knock down the price of the seat, and you usually get like a dog and a soda with it or something.
Yeah.
do they still do? I mean, because let's just be real. Of the West Coast fields, Petco Park is by far the nicest
It's amazing.
and the best food.
And stay at the.
Have you
Omni.
stayed? Have you been in that Western Metal Supply building?
No, the one that's next to it that overlooks the park.
Yeah, the one that's at the left field foul pole.
Yeah. No, I
oh,
haven't
that
been
place is
inside.
amazing.
Really,
Oh, you gotta go. The food is tremendous, and the view is amazing.
really.
Oh yeah.
I remember that I went on. I don't know. It was 2 years ago, and it was just some random like Tuesday or Wednesday had a game, and it was the first 7 innings was all you can eat hot dogs.
What?
Yeah,
Was
it was
like
like
a preseason game or something.
no, it was regular season, but it was like $40, and you
Oh.
got all you can eat hot dogs for the game,
That's
right?
Good for you.
I had like,
You were like,
I had like a hot dog an inning, yeah, and a beer, and I drove there, right? I had a hot dog and a beer an inning, and I was like, shit, I gotta get a hotel now, and I like stumbled to the Omnia and stayed at the Omnia. And it was
Yeah.
really expensive, but it was
Yeah,
nice.
It's nice. On game days,
Yeah.
it's really expensive, but
Yeah.
it's so nice.
Oh, and
to,
I
like,
went
walk right
after
over.
the game and said, I need a room. It was like $400.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a really nice hotel, and I ended up
nice.
staying there for a few days. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. So that's what we should do. We should do Team B sports outings.
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
I'm for it.
Yeah. So, okay. Anything else?
No.
Got anything?
I don't think so.
Shout outs, plugs,
About
anything like
food,
that?
Sports, dispatch. It's pretty much my whole life.
Do you want any plugs that you want to give out to anybody or anything?
Nah.
No? Cool. Well, all right.
It's just all about us.
It is
Yeah.
about us. Because, 90% of this, if you don't know us, well, they're going to be like, what the hell are they talking about?
And then what was that
Totally.
sports tangent they went off?
Yeah,
We can have another episode about Pink Patch Project.
we are. So I am talking with Amy to try and get her on once, and then we'll have both of you on if that's cool. And if not, there's a scheduling
Amy's
issue.
super fun. She's her
Yeah.
whole episode. It should be Amy. But
Yeah.
I will come if you.
Yeah. So we'll do that, and then I'm trying to do Chris. That sounds really weird. I'm trying to have Chris come on, who
Oh,
is
that's
the.
not any better.
that didn't help. Just so you know.
I am trying to record an episode with Chris,
That sounds
who is the
better.
owner of the gym we're sitting at recording here,
All right.
because that's how ghetto we are. We're recording at a gym.
It's not ghetto.
And then trying to get Anthony Alvo from Kim Turner's people on, and then if he comes
Kim
on,
Turner.
I was just about to say, if he comes on, I'm going to try and get Kim Turner on after that. So
Yeah.
that's the plan. So at the next couple months. So But my monthly subscription just reset, so I can finally upload more content. So
Yeah.
I'll be putting this.
I can't wait to hear the one with Tony and Tori.
That's going to go up later tonight. So
All right.
yeah. So anyways, thank you, Dawn, for being on the show today. Yeah, we appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Great time.
Or I should say episodes, because this will probably be broken into 2 because it's an hour and 40 minutes right now.
A lot of content.
Yeah. And we'll see what it's like after editing out all of my retardedness. So, or idiocy, I should say. Excuse my language. I have to use the proper PC terminology. But anyways, thanks again, Dawn. We appreciate it. And got anything else, buddy?
No, had a great time. It's good to be back.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.